veliko mi je zadovoljstvo što su danas sa nama predstavnici Torino Film Laba i Film Commissiona iz Trenta. Ksenija će sada napraviti uvod. I will just say, Giovanni and Luca, hello and thank you for your participation and supporting us in this project. So, Ksenia, floor is yours.
Hvala, Jovana. Thank you, Jovana. Good morning, everyone, from this Zoom side of our event. On behalf of Green Art Incubator, I have to say officially that we are really thrilled to have such a great guests whose work and expertise are and could be very inspiring for all of us. Without further ado, let me introduce our keynote speakers at today's event, Giovanni Pompili and Luca Ferrario. Technical detail is that they will present their presentations, and then after that we will have discussion which Jovana will lead from the space where you are all in. So the first lecturer, our first guest, is Luca Ferrario. He is a head of Trentino Film Fund and the Green Film Research Lab. Also he is vice president of Italian Film Commission and a member of European Film Academy since 2017. The Green Film Research Lab project was conceived to quantify the environmental benefits in terms of reduction of climate altering emissions associated with the application of each criterion of the green film rating system, and that is something that Luca will talk about. So Luca, the floor is yours, and we are very excited to hear what you have to tell us.
Thank you very much for this invitation and for letting me explain the work we are trying to do about sustainability in the film industry. I will try to summarize this incredible journey, let's say, we are making in the last 6 or 7 years about sustainability in the film industry, because we launched this initiative a few years ago. We weren't sure about the success or the interest for it, and after a few years we are now talking about a network of European institutions sharing this approach. So those have been very interesting and exciting years. So we try to summarize what happened and where we are trying to go. I know that online is more boring, so we'll try to go fast and not to annoy you too much. So let me share my presentation. Okay. Many things that I will say are better explained on the website green.film. So if I'm not clear on something, so you can find many information on that website. So Green Film is a rating system and a certification system, meaning that we propose to producers a list of actions that can help them in changing the way they work on set, based on, of course, the common criteria. So energy saving, transport and accommodation, catering, material selection, meaning the art department, the waste management, and communication. Communication is not, of course, a part of the production, but it's something that is very important because we are talking about filming. We are talking about a sector that has a very strong power in communication. So we want to take advantage of that power and use film producer to communicate that a different way of working is possible. So that's why communication is an important part of this rating system. So for each of these criteria, there are some action that we propose, specific action that we propose to producers. So, but we didn't want to just propose suggestions to producer. We didn't want to give guidelines, because you give guidelines, you give good tips, but then you don't know what happened. Are they following this? Is this working? So the tool that we design is propose these actions, but also explain how all of them can be verified. So let's, for instance, we say that they can have a specific kind of catering service with reusable dishes, let's say. But we also explain how that thing can be verified. And when you make a verification on all these actions, you can at that point release a certification. So this is what is different from guidelines. So is suggestion, and then there is a verification. And because of that verification, we can release or not a certification label. That is a proof that the producer can have of their good behavior. So it's a tool that helps us producer, is a certification label that can be given to film production, but is also a network of partners, because the more we work on this approach, and the more partner we found that wanted to share this approach. And this is very important, because if we do this only in our region, it doesn't really change things. But then we became 2 regions, and then 3 regions, and then 1 nation, and then 1 nation and other regions in another nation, and so on. So at some point, we had a big network of institutions pushing the same directions. And this is something very important, because if you are a producer and you want to work in a more sustainable way, you find an approach, you find a way that is, that you start studying and understanding. But then if you move, because you are a film producer, so you probably need to move from one region to another one, from one country to another one, because you want to co-produce film. And then if you move somewhere else and you find the same attention on sustainability, but different rules, a different approach, that become an extra work for you. But if you move and you find in different places the same approach, the same kind of criteria, the same kind of verification, that means that you don't need to do extra work, and you can co-produce sustainable projects. So this is our final goal. Share a simple tool in different regions across Europe, so the producer can find the same way, share a system, and co-produce sustainable filming. In this process, there are many people involved. The first one are what we call the Green Film Partners, which means film commission, film funds, and regional or national or broadcasters. So private or public institutions that want to push this approach. And then, of course, there are producers that want to change the way they produce their film, and that want to receive this label of green film. And then in the process of producing, we have 2 people. One is a green manager, who is a consultant that has the know-how about sustainability that most of the time producers do not have, because why they should have. So if you want to change the way they work, they need to involve a consultant that is not somebody that is on set every day of shooting for weeks, but is somebody that start working a couple of months before the shooting, that work with the producer, try to understand how, what kind of production they're trying to do, what kind of location, what kind of accommodation, what kind of suppliers, and help producer in preparing a sustainability plan that can change, that can try to make the most possible sustainable version of that film. And then, so this guy or girl does not work every day on set. He just come back at the end of the shooting, collecting all the documentation that is needed for the certification. And then there is a very fine body because, like I said, there are these kind of instructions. There is a green manager that prepared the plan, but if we want to release the certification, we need somebody that go and check if how many of that possible action the producer was able to do. Verification could be a public or private entities. We are trying to involve the more a big number of public bodies because we want to make this thing as cheaper as possible for producers, and in different regions this thing is working. But if you are shooting a film in a place where you don't find a public body, you can always ask for a private auditing company that will make this verification and help you in closing the process and receiving the certification. So here I put some different examples of how different partners are using the same tool. Because action are the same, the tool is the same, but every partner can use it in different ways. Because different countries have different level of, some places are more ready to push, some other are less. So in some cases you need a software approach. So here I put 3 examples. The first one is from a regional fund in Norway, the FIR Media Fund. They propose Greece film as a reference for a mandatory sustainability plan. So they receive application as a film fund, and they are not asking for a certification. They say, okay, we won't force you to be certified, but we want you to start thinking about sustainability. So in your application, you have to add a sustainability plan based on green film. So that means you need to start thinking about it. This is kind of first approach. Another approach is the one we also use, and here I put the example of another Italian regional fund, Emilia Romagna. They evaluate the project as we do, and we give extra points in the evaluation of a project as a film fund to certified film production. So you submit your project to a film fund, and maybe you will receive, I don't know, 80 points out of 100. But if you are if you commit yourself to be certified, maybe you can obtain 85. So that gives you more strength to your application. This is, I think, is a very let's say useful approach, because you don't force producer, but you reward them if they try to make this effort. And then there is another approach, Wallimage, a regional fund in Belgium. They wanted to push more, let's say, so they ask to all their applicants to be certified. So it's a mandatory requirement. You cannot apply to that fund if you're not willing to receive the certification. But what that means, if you're a producer, if you move across these regions or also others, you don't have to study how it works. You already know the way, you already know the criteria, you already know how it works. You just need to find out if in that place they give you some kind of reward, if they ask it as a mandatory thing, but you already know, let's say, the rules. So we started with this hands-on approach because we wanted to change the mindset of people working on set. And we didn't start with another common approach, that is the one about carbon footprint calculators. that is basically a software where you put, all the information about a film production, try to measure the impact on the environment. We prefer to start in this way, so showing what kind of changes you can make every day, in your work. But then the number of productions asking the certification kept growing, and at some point we decided it was also important to have some kind of measurement and have some specific data about sustainable productions, and that's why we had a third goal, because we were working about the blue ones, let's say, at the beginning. So provide producer a very concrete tool, and we made it somehow, and then to use that tool in order to change mindsets. And this is something that is working, because producers that start working in a certified project, they keep good habits also in the following production they work on, and this is very important. So when you start working a different way, you don't want to go back, and this is something very important that we are seeing right now. So we added this third goal, that is have to collect data. And here is when this research lab came out. In a few words, it's a research project, of course, that was founded by the National Ministry of Culture, is in Italy, that has two goals. The first is to collect and analyze data from film set. So going physically on many sets, measuring waste management, energy consumption, and everything, and collecting data for analysis. And the second goal is to revise the rating system and keep it updated, and also create different version of it for different kind of audiovisual products. So this is kind of technical thing, but just to tell you that what kind of approach we have in this research, that is the life cycle analysis, which is the most modern and used approach in environmental researches. And what we are trying to do with this research, we collect all this data for a specific reason, and the specific reason is to have data about the environmental impact of each one of these actions that we propose, but also at the same time the economic impact on the film productions, because those two kind of data could be very, very, very important for producers. And I think this research will really change the awareness, change the way of producer facing sustainability, because at that point we will have a list of actions, but for each action they will say, okay, if I do this thing, I will reduce the impact of my project of, 5%, 10%, 15%. Okay. At the same time, I can understand that the same action will cost me, 5% more, 20% less. I don't know. We will find out that. But if you're a producer and you have this kind of data, it's really way easier for you to plan your film and make the choices in order to make it really more sustainable, also in an economical way, which is of course always important for producers. So this is something that is going on. We are sending people on different set in Italy, and probably in less than a year, I would say, we will have these results, and I think they will complete the tool and giving this kind of know-how to producers. So also if you are an institution, you can propose green film, and it's not only a concrete way to deal with sustainability in the film industry, but it will also help you in measuring the reduction of the film production you are supporting somehow. A few words about this, because we are now creating a different rating system for documentaries. Documentaries, as you know, have a different way of, a different kind of production, more simple for some reason, but also different from fiction, from feature films. So documentary are, by their nature, have a lower impact, but we can still work on it and try to make the same kind of approach also for documentary production, and through the certification allow documentary production to be also pushed and reward for their effort. So we are now testing this new rating system about documentaries on a pilot case, and we will publish the new green film doc rating system in June. And we think that as it is happening for feature film, it could also be an important tool for sustainable co-productions. I think this is an overview about our partners so far that moved from Norway to Italy, Spain, and Iceland, and others are coming. And we also have a lot of national, international, institutional, public partners. And like I said, this is something that took us many years, and I just tried to make an overview. I hope it wasn't too fast or too many things or too complicated, but in case I'm here for questions and better explanation on it. Thank you.
Second to unmute myself. Luca, really thank you very, very much for this very precisely explanation of all, or at least the basic steps for changing not just one company's practice, but the practice of whole sector. I have to say that I really liked when you said, and sorry if now I made a mistake in your words, but that's the point. When you said, when you start to work in different way, you don't want to get back. And we as Green Art Incubator really believe in that. And your presentation was definitely very inspiring for acquiring that idea that if we try to change mindset and if we have some success in that we will for sure start moving forward, and not just forward, but without steps backwards. So thank you once again.
If I can say something more, I didn't show the whole rating system because it could be more too long and boring, but if you look at it, you will see that it's not perfect, it's not complete. You can do many more things, but we decide to have a basic, like an entry-level certification, because we don't want to all film production in Europe to go from 0 to 100 in 2 months, but we want the biggest number of them as possible to start changing something, like start moving to this entry level. Then we have time to ask for more, let's say. But we decide to have
a natural way to do things. Otherwise, it would be probably too big pressure and too much artificial, and probably without good results. And I believe that this kind of work is actually really something that we should apply to in our country and in our region. So the next lecturer is our guest Giovanni Pompili. Giovanni is producer and head of studies at Green Film Lab. Luca has already said about this organization, so I will just introduce you Giovanni for himself.
Don't spoil me.
And I will not spoil you. So Giovanni has a background in filmmaking and media studies. Since 2012, he's leading a production company, Produzioni, and his films have been featured on the A-list of film festivals. His latest success, and sorry now for spoiling, but I have to say this.
No. Why?
Is the movie Alcaraz, which won the Golden Bear Award this year's Berlinale. So Giovanni, the floor is yours, and we are excited to hear from you some inspirational talk as from Lucas.
Hi everybody, I'm really sorry I'm not there, but also in terms as we are talking about sustainability, coming from one day, it was not so much sustainable to fly in Belgrade and coming back. Next time, I hope to get 1 week and stay there. So everything will be gonna be like a slow travel to Belgrade will be better. And thank you very much for having me, for having Luca, for organizing this panel. I hope to be inspiring. I'm humble. I'm trying to just explain what's going on, coming from the green film experience, and I'm trying to share my screen. I know that after 2 years of pandemic, this is something that we need to be really fast, but I'm still have a problem on Zoom. But yeah. Is it working? Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, perfect.
So actually, everything starts on big facts. When we are measuring what we are doing in our lives, and we start comparing, giving like we don't know really what's our impact on environment if we are not comparing it with something and that we can really measure. And actually it starts, of course, from the taking conscious that we have an impact. Our small daily acting as an impact on the world, and we are not too small. Even if we are alone, we can be, we may have a snowball effect, and we are not so small on thinking about how we can do, thinking about what is doing a mosquito in a room in summertime. So it's gonna be a hell. So even us, we are a small mosquito that we can make a lot of noise. So when we are thinking about filming, we have some measurement that bring us to be more aware of what we are doing. So when we are doing a film with a big crew, this is global warming, then I have to to undress myself. So when we are filming with a big crew, 1 hour of filming is even more pollute than a long distance flight. And if we are thinking of TV production or big mainstream production, TV shows, consuming up to more than 10,000 car fill up with fuel, and we have to think that even more now that we are living a moment of the audiovisual production and really booming after I mean, the pandemic accelerate a process of streamers bringing and want to fill up their slate, their catalog with a lot of projects, and sometimes maybe are also not necessary kind of products. But this is my personal opinion. But you know, we are producing a lot. I mean, the last 2 years, and I mean, I'm not talking in Italy. I'm talking all Europe, all world, because streamers bottle is like is producing. So even more, this is important. It was important 7 years ago when Luca and Trentino Film Commission team start to think about how to set up a green protocol. Today, I mean, it's even better. I mean, as always, and we are late, and we have to recover. Another comparison that was so strong, because I know, because you say, okay, how can you measure the amount of waste, no, with 300 whales? This is because I don't know if someone of you remember, but 2017 in the New Zealand shore, 300 whales, big whales, were found dead on the beach. And beside that, the emotional impact for plastic pollution, for a lot of I mean, there was a lot of reason, but pollution was one of that. But also the big amount. I mean, it's really a huge volume, and this is what we are generating while we are shooting big mainstream product. But in order to change things, we have to be radical. We don't want to focus on the problem, on the final, but we have to, I mean, I say, to fix the logic, meaning that we have to reframe the way how we act in our work. Because it is a kind of, I think is cinema and audiovisual industry is really is more conservative than other industries. We are used to do things in a way. I mean, it's really difficult to change the mindsetting of people working on set. This is true. I don't know how many of you, I can see you from the back. I have a camera that is you in the back, but how many of you are working on cinema on set? Can you raise your hand just to feel, oh, okay. So you know what I mean? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Yeah, okay. So we are sharing the same impression. So so that's why we want to build up the Green Film Lab. That is a workshop organized by Torino Film Lab. That is a training is a training organization that is working mainly on content. I mean, it's working on content. I think a lot of you know Torino Film Lab. A lot of film developed in Torino Film Lab were premiered in A-list festival, have a really wonderful, successful career. Then the meeting from Torino Film Lab and Green Film and the Trentino Film Commission team, together in collaboration with the EAVE, that is a training course, international training course, set up the idea of doing a workshop based on the Green Film Protocol. But before that, I'm just want to explain a bit, even if it was a bit spoiled, but where I come from, because of course I'm a producer. I'm a producer based in Rome, in Italy. My company is called Produzioni, and actually we are working on author-driven film. I start working on project and developing author, and I mean we want to make film that have a personality. I mean I'm not saying quality film because I cannot judge. For me is quality, but I want to make film that can say something and can stuck in the audience in a good or in a bad way. But the important thing is to not make like, you know, unpersonal film. So the last film we did produce was Sole, was the first feature film that we premiered in Venice 2 years ago. And Sole, at the end of the festival career, won the IFA award as a Discovery Award as a first feature film. And the second film is, I mean, the other film, I mean, that we did produce recently was premiered in Toronto this year. Well, not this year, last year, 6 months ago, let's say. And in platform competition is a film by a first feature film by a Polish director, Aga Wojcinska. Still have a problem on pronouncing the name, but Aga is easy. And the last one is Alcaraz that eventually bring us to win the Golden Beer, and it was like a really a big surprise. And all of that. So what I'm saying beside the picture is that we are working on mainly on co-production. I mean, not mainly. 90% of our production are co-production. So it's really important to. How many of you are working on co-production? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. So we are sharing the same problem, the same issue when we have to have the financial report to Eurimage or to our ministry or our national fund, that we are co-producing with different countries, maybe with a different currency. So we don't have a common system to. Is it true? Do you have this kind of problem, or is it only me that I am not so good? Do you have this? Yes, a bit. So, well, I'm trying to talk to you as I was in the panel, because it's this online session. If not, it's really boring. But so I think on green film, we need also to have a common certification in Europe. It will be help a lot. So that's why it's really important that the green film certification is welcome from more than 50 regional funds in Europe. So, but back to my experience, just to share with you. Well, I started as a filmmaker. When I was at university, I was studying like political communication, so different things. But I start while at university doing assistant camera, then eventually assistant director on documentaries. So helped me to really have a learning by doing approach. So and I start also doing camera, and then I direct some documentaries, and I rather prefer documentaries than set, because the approach on filming was really immersive and was really respectful. And well, I love this kind of approach, this kind of work, and also helped me to understand all the stage of production, because I passed through all the stage of production. That was like mainly for 7, 8, 9 years before start producing, when I decided to start producing. And also, meanwhile, I was working on fair trade. I don't know if you know what fair trade is. Do you know? Okay, so few people, but fair trade is not solidarity, is not charity. Fair trade is just to reframe the concept of trading without put as a main goal the profit, but the fair distribution of the profit. So let's see that I mean, if I'm trading coffee, I'm not exploiting the coffee farmers, but I try to get them involved in the all process. I can advance money, I can help them to raise their community, so also the quality of their life will be better. They are not under the pressure of a really unstable market, and they can grow up, and also the quality of the product will benefit. And of course, I have less profit as a trader that import in Italy or in Europe, but maybe I'm spending less money to have this talent marketing our product. So it's a kind of different. And I thought after what's happened in the movement in 2011, let's say Seattle, and let's say Gothenburg, and after Genoa, 2001. I start to be volunteer on an organization, and also I was I went to some mission in Central and South America to evaluate the social impact of some project. So this was part of my background, and also another part of my background. I was playing rugby for 15 years. Professionally, and this is really is something that you know, filmmaking somehow could be really a lonely things when you are doing your own film, but rugby give me the sense of the importance of teamwork and of sharing, and I mean, fix goals together and work together. Maybe other sports also does it, but I mean, this was my experience. This is just to give where I come from. Then then I decide to produce, and but what's important on our background and the values that you have built up in yourself. I mean, your values, your personal values. So I can say that in my first 20 years of life, I built up some personal values, that is respect for people, respect for environment, and the ethic in relationship, and personal and working relationship, and trust also is a really important values that actually it's yeah, I mean, it's not easy when when someone is asking you, okay, just give me you five values from you, and I mean, it's not easy to focus what is the more important, but trust to me is a really important one, and solidarity, of course, and then fairness. And these personal values are the values that I bring in my company, and all what we do, and in terms of relationship, in terms of working method, in terms of approach on things, we are bringing these values, and these are reflecting also in the project that we are doing. And this is, I think, is something that's really important when you have, I mean, your personal values and company values are matching. So you are not doubt about what you are doing every day. I mean, I'm convinced. I'm still convinced, and maybe something's changed. You never know. But I don't remember what's okay. So this personal values and these values that become also the company values. We start working on I'm put I cannot do a case study, a proper case study on deep level, but let's say that we did apply Green Protocol before the Green Protocol start. I mean, more in for our passion. We think it is important after when you have at the at the end of the year, you have the financial balance. You should also think about your social balance. So what have you done for your community, for the community around you, and also the social balance can include also I mean, we did include at this moment, I mean, the past years, we did include also how sustainable we were during the year, which kind of action we have done, and I mean, I'm talking in general level, not only on project. So, and how we can improve. And so I just to explain a bit about Sole that we shot in end of 2018. And we were working mainly on three things, on try to make the production sustainable. The first one was catering, of course, and we get involved a social cooperative that was working with refugees. And we asked them to provide the catering, not, of course, now with a pandemic, it's totally different. We have to find different solution, but just to, I mean, the mindset thing at that time was like, okay, not the box, not giving lunch box, but just serve the food. So actually people can choose, I can take, and we can avoid the waste of food. And as this cooperative was working also with a social, they were giving dinner to people, to homeless people. So we make this deal that I mean the leftover from, actually, if they are served, of course all the leftover were really controlled, and they can use for this social dinner. And of course we get involved some refugees on working on serving food, and we did use compostable and dishes, and or even more sometimes we did use reusable dishes, and was like really there was important all the pre-production time, because to set up the possibility to do that. And so this was really somehow reflects our claim that was like high social impact, low environment impact. So this was like our claim at this time, and still is working. Then we were working on power grid, and so we succeed to find we had a main location. Well, of course we had chance we shot half of the film there or around there, so we had the opportunity to plug in the power grid, and without use Jenny. The use of Jenny was really reduced. Combined to a normal production, we reduce of 85% the use of Jenny, and in the other 15% we have to use because we were like really out of nowhere, so we need to do that. And the other things was transport, of course, at that time was like really easy to make carpooling, but some things that we really work out, and of course the director also helped us on understanding this, and we found the hotel, and was really close to the main location, really close. I have to say it was like 2 minutes walking, so it was like really, we were forgetting the cars. We were like in this small town, seaside town, and we were all there, and we didn't use the car for at least half of the shooting. And sometimes, you know, when we had to deal with your production manager or your unit production manager and asking to maybe they, of course, they, as we, I mean, instinctively, we are going to choose the cheapest hotel, the cheapest accommodation that can fit in our budget. But sometimes you can save the money in other items, and that way we really see that, of course, the cost of the rooms in this hotel that was like 2 minutes walking by the main location was maybe €5 more each person. So at the end of, I mean, when you have 40 people or 45 people and you have like 3 weeks shooting, it's something, but we save tons of money on fuel, on transport, on people working on organizing transfer. So it's really trying to change the mindset of how the way you see your budget and your schedule. And I have something to say that I didn't write here. Well, maybe it's coming back. So this is like a really short presentation of how we deal on this production. And of course, it was really, this is something that we bring out also in the other production when we can do that, and we always evaluate it. And I think this is something, of course, it's coming because me and the people working with me are aware of that. And but I remember one of the first shorts film that because from documentary when I start producing, I start doing documentary and short film just to understand the complexity of fiction and fiction production, scripted production. And so it was like, again, learning by doing approach. So I was doing a lot of mistakes, but of course, if you are doing mistakes in a small scale, is more sustainable than in a bigger scale, and I have done it. It was 2015, and my production manager for the short film, it was like the first, let's say, high budget short film, and I said, listen, I don't want to waste all this water bottle and all this. Let's try, we have to give a present to all the crew members and a water bottle. It was 2015. It was not so fancy at this time, but I asked to do that. And so I asked production manager to say, okay, let's find the best one that maybe is not from metallic one, because it make a lot of noise on set. Let's see. Well, this was like when we started the prep, it was like 2 months before the shooting. So 2 days before the shooting, I went, while we were talking about other things, and I asked Katya, I said, hey, but at the end of the day, which kind of water bottle did you choose? She looked at me, she's telling me like that. I said, but I thought you were joking. So it was like, okay. And so it's really about mindsetting of people working with you, because, and actually this is bring me to the fourth point that I want to use, that and that is not right here, that the other really important element is the communication. How you communicate, how you engage your crew, how you communicate with the people who are working in the production and the world outside. Because you can be the change you want. You can you can show the people that small action are possible. And actually in Sole, I remember it was really great. It was great because I was the first day of the shooting, the day before, we have not this kickoff meeting or this start of shooting dinner or where you are presenting. We have not this in Italy, but I will introduce it. But so the day before, I sent a letter to the whole crew, but meaning I sent a personal letter, so with name and with some sentence that were related to department or to the person that I was addressing this email. So it was really fit to the recipient of the mail. And I was explaining, I was starting from some facts about the climate change, and I was talking about, of course, I tried to put it was a bit empathic. It was like really a personal letter. It was like a kind of, I have 2 kids, so I was talking about how I want to preserve the world for them. And then I list the action that we were doing in this production. So I was saying about the scattering stuff, and on the story behind the scattering, and I was explain why we did choose this water bottle, because the provider was working on on project in low capacity country to make water to potabilize, to make water drinkable. So all the action have a backstory, and I will explain that. So 10 people answer me. The other people know, but 10 people answer me. It was like super enthusiastic. Oh, wow, this is really good. Oh, finally, yes, good. And also on set the first day, I had good, really, I mean, if you have someone that is sharing your values, you have them on board on following this. And actually, this is really important on set, because they are the one that make all the other people respect what the rules, the green practice that you are setting on set, because then you have the snowball effect, or maybe you have this kind of judgment effect. I mean, people feel, I mean, if they are throwing this in the wrong bin, someone can say, "Hey, what are you doing? Come on, we are spent a lot of time to share, and you are fucked up with this." So and the production was really good, and not rude, really good and really sustainable. So communication is really important. How to engage your crew is really important. So I'm taking a lot of time. I'm sorry, I'm not so straight as Luca has done, but I hope I have 5 minutes more. So that's why, I mean, I was producer. I'm a producer, but the last 2 years I started working on Torino Film Lab, and actually I participated on some panels. I'm tutoring also a workshop on co-production between Italy and France as a tutor of producer tutor, and I was also taking some case study about sustainability on set. I was like I was in a panel, in some panels about this, and Luca and Mercedes, that is the managing director of Torino Film Lab, they come with this idea of doing a lab for film production using the Green Film Protocol. And then they asked me to become head of studies of Green Film Lab. And it was like a head of studies. What does it mean? I mean, I'm not a head of studies. I don't know. But then, well, just to explain, because it's too pompous, the name of a head of studies, it seems like, oh, it's coming the head of studies. No, it's something's really, I mean, I'm trying to set up this workshop together with them from a producer point of view. So what I would need if I want to understand and to apply the Green Film Protocol to my production. So now I put the head of studies Green Film Lab, and try to explain a bit how the Green Film Lab is working. So it's target to producer, of course, with or without project. I mean, we want to engage producer working on a project, but also with the chance to have producer without project. And we want green managers. We are looking for green managers, of course, that are maybe pre-manager on coming from the sustainability field, that have not maybe so much experience on filmmaking, or even more green managers that are starting working on filmmaking that can make can improve their knowledge, improve their expertise working on a project in this workshop. Of course, the aim is to have the more sustainable industry, but most of all is changing the mindset around the movie production. So the fact is that it's something this workshop can show the producer that yes, we can do it. It's not too difficult. And of course, I mean, maybe all of you that are here in the room now, you are interested in the topic. And it's easy to communicate about this between us because we have this sensibility towards this kind of issue. But for producers that have not in their agenda these elements, something that we have to consider, and we are light, is that, as Luca said before in his presentation, I mean, in a while, it's not regional fund, national fund, maybe even international fund. They will require not award, I mean, a green film approach, but they are requiring it. So in few years, it's going to be a mandatory element. So we need to be prepared to work out and on a green production since the inception since the pre-production phase. So the goals of the Green Film Lab is, of course, I was asking, we have to work on a project, and of course we cannot work on, because also the training that I've done as a participant was always about content and always about maybe 1 week, or and you are thinking you have not specific rules because you are thinking about your content. Maybe you can discuss about financing, about co-production structure, and this is, you can find different solution. Okay, this was like, okay, we need to work on, because we need to work on a project basis. We need to be pragmatic and to see how we can do that. So first of all, I want to work on project, and of course the project needs to be close to the shooting, because needs to have all the financing, or maybe 70-80% of the financing in place. We need to be sure that the film is going to be produced, and with some head of departments already on board. So, and the location. So you really can, with all these elements, you can work out on a sustainability plan, because the idea is, of course, is go and immerse in the discussion with the other participant on green practices, with example on possible solution that other had in similar situation. So what we want to do is really learn how to apply a green protocol, and then what's next. So how we get that certification, because to me it's still something, well, now I know, but it was like, okay, why? So if I'm doing the right things, why I need a certification? I know that I've done, this was like me 5 years ago. And so drafting a sustainable plan, apply the green protocol on production, and get certification after. And the approach of the lab, as I was like, I was saying, I had in these years I had a lot of meeting or lecture, like 1 hour lecture, 2 hours lecture, or round table about green film and whatever, but it's not enough. I mean, it's not teaching me, it's giving me some information, it's warn me about what's happened, but it's not giving me any tools. So we were thinking about, okay, let's have a 3 days intensive workshops, one workshop, only one shot, from Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. So it will be like an intense weekend, and only once, because you don't need to meet people several times. I mean, we just focus on this intensive workshop, and the workshop will be held on a regional basis during the whole year. So this is the first year. Actually, we are at the end of the month. We are kick off the first workshop that will be in Trento with Luca, of course, because Green Film everything start there. So we will start in Trento, and we have other two workshops in during the year, and next year will be more workshop will come. And the workshop mainly, I mean, all the project is also is supported by Creative Europe, and all the workshop are held together with the regional fund that are asking to set up the workshop in their region. And the approach, of course, is cooperative learning. As I was saying, we are making team, we are working together, we are sharing experience. I mean, working small team, but also there will be moment on sharing. So cooperative learning and teamwork is the key to me. And an approach, as I said, is hands-on. So be on the learning by doing. This is, I think this is the most important things and the most profitable approach on this kind of how we will do the workshop. We will split the workshop two groups with 3 teams each, so total 6 teams will attend the workshop, and the teams are the project team, there are 2 people from the project team. We want people from production, of course, the producer, line producer, or unit production manager, or I mean, can be also a head of department. That also it could be good to have the art production designer, or the the cinematographer or costume designer participate on how they can be more sustainable in their field, in their department. And then we will have a producer with our project, and then an eco manager or green manager. We have like the team are made by 4 people. And sorry, disappeared really. So I make some mistakes on my keynote. And yes, now really quick, you can see we have 2 tutors and guests now disappeared. But so we have 2 tutors. There are 2 international tutors, Marie-Louise and Morgan. They come, one from UK and the other one from France. They have a lot of expertise on the field, and with an also different approach, meaning that we will have also some plenary session about some specific moment of the production. We will have a specific lecture, plenary session on post-production, also sustainability and post-production, because we never think about what's going on and all the impact that our post-production also could have. Let's think server, let's think on the material that how the hard drive are produced and the energy consumption. So we will have like also this window that slot talking about this. And I'm nearly close to the end. Don't be worried. Next call, I mean, will be the second workshop 2022 will be in Palma de Mallorca. So have a really good selling point beside the expertise you can gain. And the third workshop will be in Siege during the Siege Film Festival, really close to Barcelona. And in the first workshop, the application, of course, that we already sent the invitation, and we got a lot of interest, and we have a lot of it was not so easy to choose the participant. So meaning that in the industry there's the need to improve and to understand better how we can be more sustainable in our production. So just, I mean, what's I think be the change you want to be. And I mean, I invite you to apply for the next Green Film Lab session. Thank you.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you a lot for this really amazing presentation. I have to say that I especially liked the example of Film Sole, in which, as you said, you had implied green protocols before they were officially adopted. So you have implied them not because you had to do that, but because you thought it was right thing to do. And generally, me personally, and we, Green Art Incubator as an organization, really believe that the idea of social impact of artistic production is something that is deeply grounded in the process of green transformation and generally process of shifting the way of working in a cultural field. Bottom line, acquiring this idea of social impact is grounded in this brilliant, I have to say, metaphor of small mosquitoes, which you have mentioned, and which, realistic and accurate as it is, definitely could be one of our slogans for our present and future work. So now I'm opening a Q&A section. I invite all participants to ask Luca and Giovanni questions they want, or to give some reflections from their perspectives and from, let's say, Serbian practice perspective. Giovanna, now please help us to make connection between our online and in live spaces, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ksenia, and of course, thank you, Giovanni and Luca, for this very important sharing with us about the first steps. And we are here at the very beginning of understanding what the green film is. So in all aspects, in producing, in a policy sense, and for us, it is very important to understand. You mentioned several keywords here that are important for us, like labeling, certification, film, how to make a movie application available for the film funds in sustainable framework. So maybe I will start with the first question, which is very practical for us. It is important. What do you mean, or what is your suggestion how to start? Because we don't have any, in a sense of cultural policy or in our film fund, any link between environmental issues and the eco shift in a filmmaking. So how to start to implementing it in applications or in the policy papers, from bottom up or bottom down perspective? If I understand, Luca, your initiative from Film Commission was to initiate this kind of protocols and certification processes. So for us, I can see it will be different in all region. So what is your, opinion about that? What is our first steps in that sense could be?
Well, after a few years and after seeing what happened in our region and what happened in other, 6, 7, 8 other regions in Europe, I think that the best approach is the one in the middle, would say. So not many places can afford to make mandatory things, to ask for mandatory things to producers. But at the same time, when you just present guidelines, you just give advices, you don't really change things. So the best way to speed up things and to really see changes is to set a policy that rewards producers, that push producers, that give an incentive, a push to start. And not as a mandatory thing, but as a choice.
Yeah. Sorry, Luca.
No. This is something very easy now to do for a film fund, because you can just say, okay, you don't have to, but if you want to, try and you are able to receive a certification, we give you some kind of incentive. But if you are a public fund or public institution and you want to give some kind of incentive, you need a proof. Cannot just be the producer say, yes, I did it, I swear, of course. So the certification and the reward for the certification, I think, is the most fastest and effective way to change things.
Yeah, in our position is to maybe from the perspective of Green Art Incubator, we are working on, we finished already, you mentioned tools and toolkits and guides for producers for the first steps in a sense of production. But we are now thinking about the working groups with the producers who will present and develop the policy papers for the decision makers who can not papers but recommendations for the people who are decision makers in a sense of funds, because we don't have that kind of way of thinking still in our official funding. So, and Luca and Giovanni, thank you for your practical advices and sharing with us the steps that you did on your first project before the Green Protocol was implemented. And I think it is very inspiring for us how we can think of, and you mentioned values which are very important for this for this topic. It is very inspiring for us as a producers that we can do a small steps before this official implementation is not on the table yet. Okay, I will give the floor to our participants and who are producers, and they are already from the field. Very they have a lot of co-production in their production practices, and they understand the framework of international collaboration, and also they understand that it will be mandatory topic for the future in a sense of Euroimage, media funds and others, but also here are the people who are super interested in the topic because of the values and our what we can do as agents of change. So I'm giving the floor to our audience, and if there are any questions. Tijana će vam dati mikrofon ako ima pitanja. Nadam se da će biti. Možete da kažete samo ime ili...
Yeah. Hi. I don't know if you can see our backs, but it's fine. We can see you guys. Thanks for all the talk. What I was thinking when I was listening to you guys is that since we all kind of showed up here, it goes to say that, you know, we have the minimal amount of consciousness already. So that's a good step, and that's, you know, we came here, so we are ready to listen to this and take action. But what I was wondering is, are there any more practical, is there any more practical advice on what can be done in each stage of production? You know, obviously we heard about the catering, the transport and all these things, they come to mind, but is it planned to be more broken down where, you know, the sets of advice are given as a guide that you understand, or, you know, I can do this, or this will take because it's kind of still a little foggy for us, because the policy changing is one thing, and that's something that, you know, requires more people, and these practical things are something we can do tomorrow in the office. So I'm wondering, are there any more practical advices that you can guys give? We are from This and That Productions from Serbia, and we'll be joining you guys in the Green Lab in the end of the month.
Yeah,
that's good.
so yeah, This and That. So nice to hear you, because I don't see you. But well, my first answer could be, well, you're gonna discover at the end of the month.
I can add the answer maybe, which is important and didn't mention. We did toolkit which is for our producers, and it will be shared on our platform for all stage of production and the concrete steps and concrete for all phase in pre-production process, development process of the project, production and post-production stage, distribution and things like that. So we are preparing that because it is different than in EU countries. We don't have infrastructure which is in condition to follow all directions that are possible in EU. So we don't have, for example, generators, we don't have hybrid vehicles and others. So we try to adapt that for our field and to make it from face to face in very detailed way for our producers. So sorry for I taking the floor for answering on this question.
No.
About the practical things.
Sorry. Go, Giovanni.
No, I would like just to share with you because I mean now we are in pre-production of a co-production with Holland, with the Netherlands, and of course we are. I mean with the we are following the green film protocol. So we have like 6 different area of thinking, of trying to think the measure and what we can do. Of course, then it's depending of the possibility, the reality. I mean, we were looking for, I mean, I had a call with the production manager say, oh, I cannot find a hotel 10 kilometers close to the main location. And how we can do that. So, independent, we are going to shoot in Venice. How we cannot, it's in an island. We cannot plug in, maybe for one day, they are not allowed us to plug in the power grid, let's say. So everything's could be different depending of your production, of the specificity of your production. What I mean, my personal, then Luca maybe is more have a more overview on different kind of project, but my personal advice is to consider always a couple of weeks of preparation more, because it just have time and having someone that is really working on measurement, which kind of impact, which kind of solution we can find on this. And because, you know, production manager, production coordinator are not have not the time to ask to the hotel if they are certified or not. And then of course what Joanna said is it's depending on where you are shooting, because if I'm shooting in northern Italy, I mean, I'm talking about our country, that is still, it's really different between region. I mean, we can, if we are going to Trento, it's fine, or in the northern region, it will be easier to find a certified eco hotel, right? But in other region, no. If we want to have like a vegetal meal, try to find, okay, try to avoid meat. Try to have like one, you know, it's in some region it will be easier. If I'm going to Sicily, they say, you want vegetable, not meat, so we can do chicken. No, chicken is meat for us. Okay, and fish and ham. So there is kind of, so you really have to work out on finding the solution that you can do in the specificity of your production. Well, this is my 2 cents. Then Luca will be more straight, I think, on.
No, yeah, there are a couple of things I would like to say. First of all, if you're looking for more specific descriptions, I hope you can find them in the rating system because I didn't show this to you before, but I don't know if you can still see my screen if I share it. Can you? Yes. In the room, I mean.
Yes.
Okay, because this is the specific of every criteria and sub criteria. This is an example of energy saving. So the connection to the grid that Giovanni was talking about, the kind of energy you can buy. It could be green power or not, the use of LED lighting. So for every action, we explain the requirements, and then we give some suggestion, and then we explain how the verification could be done. So I think following this document, you can have some specific instructions, let's say, or a way to manage a sustainable production. And then I would like to show you the final checklist, because an important thing is that, like Giovanni was saying, every film is different. There is no film where you can do all of these actions, because there is almost not possible unless you are the whole film in one main location that you can really take time to prepare. But it's not going to happen. So the meaning of this rating system is not that you have to do all of them, and otherwise you're not certified. You need, according to your film, to reach a minimum level of these points, let's say. So
can you help us? Who is defining the minimum from the perspective?
The minimum is 20 points out of this.
Okay. From the it is
every action has a point, a weight, let's say, because some things are more important than others, of course. So you need to choose among those options, and you need to reach at least 20 points to be certified. That at this point it's affordable, let's say. Maybe one day could be a higher minimum number, but today is 20, and like I said before, is a way to start changing. And I think you can do this. I mean, it's made for being used anywhere in Europe, from the top sensitive countries to the opposite. And honestly, in Italy, we're not very good at this. But in this way, you see your film, your project. What is mandatory is the sustainability plan at the beginning. This is something really important, because if you plan sustainability at the beginning, you can really change a lot of things.
Yeah.
If you start thinking about this the day before the shooting, it's too late. It's done. So I think that anywhere and with every kind of film, if you try, you may be able to reach those 20 points if you really try. So it's not a matter of kind of film or countries. And I mean, this is what we are seeing in other places. And another thing it's important to say, the first, how do you say in English, objections, the first problem that everybody raise up is, we don't have this kind of suppliers that can be useful to a sustainable productions. We live in this place, Trentino, that is very sensitive to this topic, but still 6 years ago there was nothing about a sustainable film production. And so we have two ways of dealing with this. First, wait until we have every kind of supplier ready for a sustainable service, and we can wait probably 30 years. And the second one is to start pushing the demand of those services, because what we saw in our region is that the first producers came and went to the catering service or to the car rental and say, do you have a sustainable kind of catering? No. Do you have an hybrid car? No. Okay, second producer, no. At the third one, the catering service said, okay, maybe I can start work on this. So if producers start asking, the suppliers start changing their offer, because this is the basic economic rule. So we cannot wait for them to be ready if nobody asks for those kind of service. So this is something that is working. Maybe it takes some time, but still way less time than just waiting without pushing the demand. So if you this topic together with the other one, that you don't have to fulfill every action, should I think explain why you could start like tomorrow if you want to.
And the Film Commission is responsible for certification process. Green Film.
The Film Commission just received the, sorry, I don't know, the postman probably, sorry. The certification, there is a verification body that that goes on set and verify what the producer is doing, and then prepare a report that has to be sent to the fund. But the fund just need to receive it and say, did they reach 20 points? Yes or no?
Okay.
That's all the film fund has to do.
Mm-hmm. So we have more questions from the audience.
Yeah, hi, my name is Nežan. I'm from Dissident Productions. I just wanted to say that this position of eco manager in the film crew, this is the first time I heard for that position, and it reminded me about COVID manager in the film crew, and it reminded me how film producers and film productions are very flexible actually, and I think we can easily adapt to new rules or new policies if we really have to. So I don't know how it was in Italy, but in Serbia, we have been shooting during the whole pandemic situation, following very strict rules, and we, you know, like didn't stop at all. So if we could apply all that measures and policies for COVID rules, I think these like green rules and requirements would not be something so complicated for film producers. Unfortunately, the sooner those are requirements from the film funds or Eurimage or some funding system, the better will be. I mean, the faster they will become a reality and normal in daily use.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. Do we have any other questions? And or Giovanni or Luca, do you have any reflection on this?
No, I mean, with Susanna, yeah, I was concerned as you about the role of eco manager, because of course, I mean, sometimes somehow you always are missing people in a crew. You know, you always have problem on fitting the budget, but again, I mean, I think having someone that and it's not too expensive, because depending also which kind of production you are doing and which kind of action you can take, it could be a consultancy, and then you can have like an external consultant, and then have someone on set that you can indicate as a green manager, just to be responsible of, I mean, waste management and coordinate all the department on some action. It's, I think also, and this is really important, because the research they are doing, the Green Film Lab research on the impact on green practices on set, how can affect also the budget. Because I think it's true, maybe you need more preparation, maybe you need one more person in the crew, but it can bring you also to save some money. I mean, in our little experience, I see that actually when maybe you are having more expenses in an item, in some budget items, but you can save money in the other hand. So, and this is also again, think that if we will have some premium bonus from regional national film fund for this, applying these green practices, then the cost of a green manager is not it's not easy to find them. I mean, green manager to me was like a kind of where I can find the green manager. Actually, I was asking to Trentino Film Commission or to Piemonte Film Commission, to our regional film commission, if I have to shoot in that region, if they have someone that they can, if there is a list of like the production guide where you can find the consultant and you can see their experience. And I hope we can explore even more when in the workshop at the end of April.
Yeah, it's understandable that it comes to the capacity buildings, and that we should do on green supervisors on a set and in development process, and that we should do in preparation and trainings also for local productions who will be in Torino this year. So do we have any other questions?
No, if I can, I would just want to add that about the green manager is the same logic. If you start asking for them, looking for them, they show up, because we're not talking about very weird competencies. Those kind of people already exist and already work in other fields. They work in certified sustainable events, maybe in certified sustainable buildings, in certified sustainable many other things. And these kind of people can easily be moved to the film industry, because they already have all the competences they need to have. They already know different kind of materials. They already know regulation about waste management. They already know different kind of electricity. They already know all of this. They just need to understand how to move this to the film industry, and it's not that complicated for us. So we just need to show them that we are looking for them.
Yeah. To announce that. Milica, one more question. Just to fix the problems with the mic. Another one is coming.
In the meantime, I say something that I forgot, that since last year, the green film was recognized as an official national certification. So in Italy, it's not a regional initiative anymore. And this is something that, of course, is very helpful.
Yeah, it is super.
And now also the national fund is giving extra points for certified films, and probably also the European institution will start doing something like that.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Milica, and I come from Shaken on Stirred Production, which is US-based production. So first question is related to this. How do you feel about production service companies shooting in Italy? And how do you regulate their system if they don't need any real subvention or I don't know, any other program that you have to support the film making it green? So how do you actually coordinate with them making your system more related to the service production companies? Sorry if it's a misplaced question, but just trying.
No, I'm just trying to. So if we don't have any connection, let's say, with them, like we are not funding them, or we're not supporting them, we cannot force them. We cannot reward them. So we don't have a real way for this. Is at that point is up to them. We can help them if they want to try. They can still be certified if they want to, but we don't have any way to reward them, if this is the question.
Sorry, but the service production for cinema or audiovisual product, right?
Yeah, for cinema and for advertising also, because We here have a lot of productions for working on services like for movies and for the commercials, which are already implementing parts of environmental protocols that producers from abroad are bringing here that should be implemented. So in a sense of eco managers or supervisors, maybe it should be both way, street with because foreign services should develop this maybe faster than local productions, and it is something that is happening already, because some of environmental protocols from, I don't know, Hollywood are already implemented in service productions here.
Mhm.
Yeah, because some things that I think there are two different order on that. Production service working for advertising. I mean, advertising world, it's even more conscious about how the importance to be greenwash or the greenwashing practice. So actually, if they can also produce the advertising in with an eco label, will be green label, will be good for them and for the agency that are working with the production company. And for the others, what I'm saying is that as far as you have some national support, I mean, we have, even if you don't have, when you are coming to shoot in Italy, you have a production service doing all the physical production, but still, if you're working in some region, you could have some support. If you have not that, you will anyway, you could benefit of the national tax credit, right? That is an automatic support. That's why also a lot of production are coming to shoot in Italy. And if in tax credit in upcoming, I don't know, Luca, if the discussion is on the table with our National Film Fund, but maybe after the financial certification, you have to provide also a green film certification, then you have the answer.
Yeah, that is for sure a goal of all of us here, and of course Green Art Incubator, but all collaborators who will work with us on this implementing in a cultural policy sense. Do you have any other question? Yeah, because we have time, I think, just for one more. Yeah, it's I don't know where is the mic. I did it.
So the other question is, as your system seems far more developed than the one we have here regarding green film policies, can you introduce us to your struggles at the moment and your goals for this future period? What are your fights at the moment?
The challenges that you are faced now.
The fight right now is to share this, like I said before, to share the same approach with a big number of other regions and countries. Because if we find a common way to deal with this topic of sustainability, things can change way faster. If we keep doing different things in different places that do not talk to each other, the solution at the European level is not going to come. So we can solve in a way or manage the problem in our countries, but European film production is based on co-production. So if you don't solve the co-production aspects for sustainability, you are not really done. So the goal now is to find a way to co-produce sustainable filming. This is what we are trying to do, and that's why we have I mean, we are working on a certification. For a certification, you need a verifying body, a verification, and we involve these companies that are in charge of verification that have offices anywhere in Europe. So if tomorrow you want to have your green film certified film in Serbia, you can do it because you have this kind of local branch of those companies. And so it's how can I say, it's technically possible already. We just need to involve institution to push this way, because in this way we share the system. I don't know if I reply.
Yeah, this kind of networking is super important for the organization and the field in general, not just regional, but more than that. Thank you for your time again, Giovanni and Luca, and thank you for sharing the thoughts and the very practical suggestions and examples. And I hope that we will stay in touch about this topic and developing this in our country and region.